Hello there. Oops, sorry, it's not focusing. There we go. And welcome to Ancient Number Systems, the Ancient Mayans. All right. So, the Mayans did some pretty darn impressive math with this number system that they came up with. They were one of the first to actually have a zero, concept of zero, any type of using zero, which was awesome. And they were able to calculate things like the solar year and the lunar year. Even though they didn't have fractions, they were able to calculate that accurately to like 4 decimal places. So they were doing way better and higher math than their contemporaries over in even Greece, not let alone Europe. So the Mayans knew what they were doing when it came to math. So let's see how this works. Now this is going to be your first taste of a different base system. The Mayan system is a base 20 system. Our system is a base 10 system. And so I'll try to explain how this works. But base 20 means we're going to have a separate picture for every number 0 to 19. Because when we get to 20, that's when we move to the next place. So first of all, 0, super important that they have it, and they call it a shell or a loaf of bread. Some students have said it looks like something like that. Okay, that's the 0, that's the placeholder. From there, 1 is just a dot. Not too bad. 2, guess what? 2 dots. Woo! 3 is, you guessed it, 3 dots. And, oh, I got a little excited. We'll hug myself there. And 4 is 4 dots. Now, once we get to 5, we're going to have a different picture. So 5 is a bar. Okay, and then, so interesting thing about the Mayan system is it's actually a vertical number system. So as we start building numbers, we're actually going to build things on top of each other. So 6 means we're going to have a 5 and a 1. And then 7, now that you see the pattern, I bet you can guess it, is a 5 and 2 ones. 8 is a 5 and 3 ones. 9 is a 5 and 4 ones. Okay, now us naturally, because we grew up with a base 10 system, feel like, okay, cool, this is when we can switch to something new. But because the Mayans, it was a base 20, we're going to keep going. So 10 is really just 2 5s. Ta-da! And then I bet you can guess, so 11, that's 2 5s and a 1, and so on and so forth. So 15 is then going to be 3 lines all the way up to 19, which is going to be 3 lines. So that gets us to 15, and then 4 dots gets us to 19. Okay? And for the bulk of what we're doing on the worksheet, that's all you're going to need to know. However, we do need to talk about how a different base number system works. Okay, so ours is a base 10 system. So you don't have to write this down. I'm just going to write this out. So like we have our 1's place, and then we have the 10's place, and then we have the 100's place, and then we have the 1,000th's place, and the 10,000's place, and so on. And so when we put numbers together, when we put a number in each of these spots, so let's say we had 2,463, that means we have 2 thousands, 4 hundreds, 6 tens, and 3 ones. Okay, so this is the base 10 system. Now, like I said, the Mayans is a base 20 system. And because they grow vertically, I'm going to draw their powers vertically. So we have the 1's, which we just covered. And then the next level up, the next row up, are the 20's. And then the next row above that, if we do 20 times 20, that gets us 400. And if we do 400 times 20, that gets us 8,000. See how it grows really fast. So the places get bigger even faster than our base 10 system. And then the next one is, yeah, if we do 20 times 8,000. Sorry, I was just shocked at how big the next number is, because the next level of powers, and we definitely aren't going to go past this one, is 160,000. So that jumps up, whoo, real big, real fast. Okay? So this is how this works, and you might need a calculator. Yeah. So here we go. So let's do something simple like the number 25. That's not too far past where we are, right? Okay, so first you want to look at the biggest power that you have. In this case, 20 is the biggest power we have. So 25 is just going to have 2 levels. And we need 1 20, and then we need 5 in the lower down. Notice there's a space between these because we don't want it to look like 6. We want it to look like there's 1 in the 20's power and 5 in the 1's place. Okay, we'll try this again. And let's try 92. Let's see what happens there. Okay, do we have high enough to get to the 400 level? We do not. So we need to figure out how many 20s are in 92. And the closest one is to 80. So that means we're going to have 4 20s. So on the second row up, we're going to have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means we've got 4 20s, which is 80. And then in the 1's place, how much do we have left now? 92, we've taken out 80. And that leaves us with 12. And so the next row down, we need to do 12, which is going to be 2 10s and 2 dots. Okay, so, and then this is, so I'll put in the 1's place, and we have 12 of them. All right, I know it's a little confusing. I want you to just try your best. Most of them don't take you too far. Now, let's do an example of how to use the 0 as a placeholder. Okay, so let's say we do the number 400. Okay, well, if I look at my powers of 20 over here, 400 is actually a power of 20. And that means I want to have 1 in the 3rd row up, because that'll get us our 400. But how do I show that that's the 3rd row up? This is when we use the 0. So there's a 1 in the 400s row, and then we're going to have a 0 in the 20s row, and a 0 in the 1's row. Okay, so 3rd row up means we're in the 400 powers. We have 1 of those. That's 400. Okay, let's see. Let's try an even crazier number. How about we do 624? That's pretty random. All right. So we can look at our powers sheet over here and find the highest one that will go into this. So that's going to be the 400. So we're going to have 3 lines in our Mayan number here. And how many times can 400 go into 624? It can only go in once. So 1 dot on the 400 level. Okay. Then I'm going to subtract 400. I'll do it smaller. Minus 400, and let's see how many we have left. So that means we have 224 left. Now we need to figure out how many times can 20 go into 224, and I'm really just going to use my calculator for that. I'm going to do 224 divided by 20, and there's 11 of them. So we can have 11 20s are in 224. So on the 20s row, we're going to draw an 11, which looks like this. 2 lines and a dot. Okay, then we need to figure out how much we just took out. So 20 times 11 is 220. And how much does that leave us with? In the ones place, we've got 4. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Let's go the other direction now and see if we can figure out from a Mayan number what our Hindu Arabic numbers would be. So we're going to do, I'm going to be a little crazy. We're going to put 2 dots in this row, and we're going to put a line in this row. It looks like a face right now. I like that. And then, why not? We're going crazy. Okay, so now we need to figure out how many we have of each power. So in the ones place, how many do we have? In the ones place, we've got 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, in the 20s place, how many do we have? Well, a bar is 5, so we're going to do 20 times 5, which is 100. And then in the 400s place, we have 2. So I'm going to multiply 400 by 2, which is 800. Okay, then we're just going to add all these guys up. 0 and 0 and 3. And the 13 is just going to stay. And then 800 plus 100 is 913. Okay, a little crazy, but that's how there are not any numbers that are this big on your assignment. There is some adding and subtracting, though, because I'm crazy. At least going from Mayan back to our numbers. So on your worksheet for this section, these are the ones you're switching from our Hindu Arabic numbers to the Mayan. And then down here, we're going to do a little math. Make sure you're paying attention. Some are adding, some are subtracting. And see if you can do it without having to translate the numbers back to ours first. Okay, I'd like to have the answers in the Mayan. I will do a demonstration just so that you guys can see what's going on. I'm going to do the 1600 because that one seems to confuse people a lot. So the 1600, if we look at our powers of 20, notice 1600 is actually one of our powers, which means we're just going to have a 1 here and the rest is zeros. So we're going to have a 1 in the 160,000. Wow, sorry, I was saying that wrong. It's been a long day. We've got a 1 in that spot, and then we need to have 0, 0, 0, 4 zeros. And 0. Sound effects help. Oh, that one got a little out of hand, but it gets the point across. So this means we have 0 1s, 0 20s, 0 40s, 0 8,000s, and we have 1 160,000. Okay, and then this one's kind of silly. Follow the same pattern, see if you can figure it out, because I actually really like that number. Okay, so give it a try. No stress if it works out or not. I just want you to try. Bye.